Did you know and do you believe that your thoughts can change or shift your reality right away? Neville Goddard, The Greatest Prayer. I'll share some notes, some insights with you in this video, and it shifted for me yesterday, so I'm going to share this with you. And if you're open to this, just let the words shift you too, because it's shifting into something better. You want to manifest more wealth in your life, you want to manifest more love, you want to manifest better health. Just absorb these words, take some notes, and begin play with these things. This is powerful stuff. This is from Neville Goddard, and it's all 10 books by a modern master, Neville Goddard. And yesterday I read this chapter called The Greatest Prayer by Neville Goddard. And I'm going to share a couple of my notes, and then I'm going to read something for you, something that really triggered something positive inside of me that opened up to even more desires. So first of all, Neville Goddard, in this book, in this chapter, The Greatest Prayer, a manifestation chapter, first of all, what he begins with is I took some notes here. Just going to look at them, so I got them all for you. First of all, he says, imagination is the beginning of creation. You imagining what it is that you desire, that is the first step in manifestation, in creation. The next one is, you imagine what you desire. You imagine what you desire. Then you believe it to be true. It's Neville Goddard's words. Then you believe it to be true. So imagination is the beginning of creation. You imagine what you desire, and then you believe it to be true. It's the law of assumption. You believe it to be true. So powerful. And he continues, so every dream could be reached, achieved, lived by those self-disciplined enough to believe it. So a person who is self-disciplined enough to keep believing. Every time doubt shows up, turn your back on doubt. Fear shows up, turn your back on fear. Whatever shows up, lack shows up, turn your back on lack. And be self-disciplined. Neville Goddard says, every dream could be achieved by those self-disciplined, whatever, enough to believe in it. So keep believing in it. Law of assumption, keep believing in it. Now, this was an introduction to this chapter. The next part was something that was very powerful for me, because Neville Goddard speaks about the way that you perceive other people. The way that you perceive other people. I'm going to share some notes, and then I'm going to read from the chapter something that really got me yesterday. I loved reading this. I love the energy of reading this. Now, as I share these things, very briefly, it's about other people. Neville Goddard shares, maybe in this chapter or the chapter before, that whatever you believe about another person, it's coming from inside of you. This is my words. It's coming from inside of you. And here is this thing that, and I know this from before, so if there's something like a person irritates another person, it's irritation in the person who is being irritated. So the only way to shift that is not to force the other person to shift or speak different or behave different. The way is to actually let go of the irritation inside oneself and shift the way a person look at the other person. Goes with irritation, goes with frustration, goes with stress, goes with, some people, and I've been one of those for many years, gets triggered by other people very easily, or some people triggers them. Now, the other thing that I want to mention here before sharing these notes is that Neville Goddard also speaks about if there's a person and maybe you have a friend or family member and they are not healthy. This was really a big one for me yesterday. If they're not healthy or they're not wealthy, well, begin to pray for them being healthy. Pray for them being wealthy, whatever it is another person wishes or wants. See that person, pray for that person, and that energy, Neville Goddard's teaching, that energy will help change the other person. My reflection on this is because you shift, that shift might help you see the person in another light, which will help your filter mechanism actually that the person will change. And also because of your perception of that person changes, that it will help that person to shift or change. So it's a very, very, I really found it so beautiful yesterday, because if we start doing this, if you start practicing this just for yourself, and you begin or do it even more, wishing health, wealth, whatever it is other people want, make sure that you know that they want these things, and you wish that for them, you will shift inside and you will welcome more abundance. You will welcome, that's the big shift, and you will welcome more health, better health, more love into your life. And the other part of this is because you do that, that will also happen to yourself. That's the mirror principle. So how beautiful could that be, as instead of some people coming from a lower energy, maybe something irritates them, or they in an unaware moment they might think or say something bad to another person. But think about how beautiful this is. By you becoming aware and helping in from yourself, in your thoughts. Don't speak it to other people, just in your thoughts, in your mind, in your belief, in your emotions, in your energy. You wish great things for people around you. Maybe even you see someone on the street who is a beggar or limps or something like that. You see that person is not feeling good. Wish them great, and just think about, and maybe even feel it now, that energy of you wishing those great things for other people. And also knowing that it will change yourself. You, as the more you wish more love or better health or better wealth for other people, the more you will give that to yourself too. And the other part of this, which I also did love, was that for some people, if they have difficulties like getting into that I am state, into that state where they really believe that they are wealthy, it can help, and I played with this, it can help to find a friend in your imagination or family member and let them speak those words to you. So remember, wish good for other people, and maybe you have a friend, you know how that friend sounds, or you know how that friend moves and things like that, and just imagine that friend telling you, congratulations, my friend, congratulations with all of your wealth, all of your success, congratulations, looking so good, things like that. Whatever it is that's right for you, right? Because that is taking the pressure off one's shoulders, and now via your imagination, it's another person sharing this with you. And this can be I wouldn't call it a trick, but a tip to help your process of manifesting the things you want. Awesome, huh? And how beautiful is this by just becoming aware of this and sharing more and more love? I wish you the best. Sharing more and more love in yourself will change the world to a better world, right? How beautiful is this? I was really feeling good after reading that chapter yesterday. So let me share a couple of notes more. People are what you choose to make them. People are what you choose to make them. This is from Neville Goddard's the chapter Greatest Prayer. And also he writes, a man is according to the manner in which you look at him. This is what I spoke about before. So if you see a person and you find that person irritating, it's the way that you look up of him. You have that irritation inside of yourself. So shift that. And you must look at him with different eyes before he will objectively change. It's from Neville Goddard. Beautiful. You must look at him with different eyes before he objectively change. What I spoke about here. Really, it's a great exercise. Now, the perfect man judges not after appearances. He sees others as he desires them to be. Wow. I mean, wow. Would anyone, I was hit by that, I even got goosebumps now. Would anyone from the deepest, the greatest of oneself wish another person bad or bad stuff? No. If that happens, it's just old energy. It's just layers. It's something that's got triggered inside. So how beautiful is this? We can practice seeing people as we desire them to be. A friend not being healthy, just practice watching that friend being healthy. A friend being stressed, just practice watching that friend being relaxed. I enjoy this so much, and it's an invitation too. I'm gonna work with this. I'm gonna look at this again from my perspective where I am, and I invite you to do the same. Let me know in the comments if this makes sense, if something shows up for you. This is good stuff. And also he says that perfect man, he hears only that what he wants to hear. He hears only that what he wants to hear. And Neville Goddard speaks much about these things. So it's one of his principles, and it's also one of the things from Napoleon Hill that we really have to train. And from Neville Goddard, it's one of his disciples that he speaks about. We really have to train ourselves to only look for the things that we desire and hear the things that we desire. For me, this chapter yesterday, I really loved the part of practicing looking at other people and see them as you desire them to be. It will lift the whole world. Beautiful, huh? So, I also promised to read something for you, and I'm just going to read a little part of it. It's with all my notes. It's from the chapter, The Greatest Prayer from Neville Goddard. I'm even going to put on my glasses so I can read it perfectly for you. So he says here, some of the words are old English, so I'll do my best. The king that sitteth on the throne scattereth the evil with his eye. Sympathy for living things, agreement with human limitations is not in the consciousness of the king, because he has learned to separate their false concepts from their true being. It's not in the king on his throne to look in any agreement with human limitations. There are no limitations. I love this. To him, just listen to this. To him, poverty is but the sleep of wealth. Wow. He does not see caterpillars, but painted butterflies to be. Goosebumps again here. It's beautiful, huh? Not winter, but summer sleeping. Whoa. Not a man in want, but Jesus sleeping. Take this in, my friend. Jesus of Nazareth, who scattered the evil with his eye, is asleep in the imagination of every man, and out of his own imagination must man awaken him by subjectively affirming, I am Jesus. Then and only then will he see Jesus, for man can only see what is awake in himself. Man can only see what is awake in himself. So think about this if you want to manifest great things in your life. What did he say here? Poverty is but the sleep of wealth. Poverty is but the sleep of wealth. So, and then a man can only see what is awakening in himself. So for you to manifest wealth or even bigger stuff in your life, gotta wake up from the sleep of lack, wake up from the sleep of not being successful, and see oneself as wealth, see oneself as successful. The holy womb is man's imagination. Just let all of this sink in. The holy child is that conception of himself which is Isaiah's definition of perfection. Heed the words of St. Augustine. Too late have I loved thee, for behold, thou wert within, and it was without that I seek thee. It is your own consciousness that you must turn as to the only reality. There, and there alone, you awaken that which is asleep. Go inside. Go inside and play with desires. Imagine the desires and awaken that which is asleep. Through Christ, 1,000 times in Bethlehem he born. If he is not born in thee, thy soul is still forlorn. I'll take a couple of more lines. Creation is finished. You call your creation into being by feeling the reality of the state you would call. That's the law of assumption. A mood attracts its affinities, but it does not create what it attracts. As sleep is called by feeling, I am sleepy, so too is Jesus Christ called by the feeling, I am Jesus Christ. Man sees only himself. Nothing befalls man that is not the nature of himself. Which means, with my words, that whatever you experience in your reality, it's something that's inside of you. And what the chapter began with, imagination is the beginning of creation. As you begin imagining the life that you desire, and you believe it to be true, and I started with these things, and you are self-disciplined enough to believe it, keep believing in it, it will unfold. And as it unfolds, it is certain that when you begin seeing those results, you'll begin believing it even more and turning the back on the things that was before. The sleep, you are awakening. Whew. I love this. So I was looking forward to share this with you. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. This is a part of our Manifestation Masterclass. It's free, costing $0, krona, pounds, whatever. 0. It's free. And you can check it out. There's a link below this video. and lots of love.